and welcome to another episode of the Aunty Lisa Show. Yes. What should we do a story about today? I don't know, but I'm gonna find out. Let's see. Ooh, it's in the silver bag. Oh, look at that. Aleksander, Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa. Oh, amazing. El Fuego. Ghost skeleton of unknown origin. A Martian. That's to say, an alien from the planet Mars. It's very specific. Alright. And in the red bag, we have... I've just picked up two, so let's do that. Okay, a cone snail. And a T-Rex. Excellent. Good. Right. In the bag of random things. Please be something good. A cat. Oh, that's not that random. I'm going to choose one more. A forklift. That is quite random. Okay. And in the bag of places. Deep breath. Oh, very cultural. The theatre. Or the theatre. Theatre, darling. Theatre. Your Aunty Lisa cannot say theatre properly. Nor can Uncle Stephen. Right. Not unless we think about it. That's the thing. So. One day, Aunty Lisa, Aleksander and Kristoffer decided to go on a little trip to the theatre. Said correctly. And so they packed their bags with some money, because you like to buy snacks at a theatre. Theatre. Oh, God, why did I put that in there? And some snacks anyway, because you always sneak in your own snacks to the theatre, because that saves you money. And essentials such as binoculars, night vision goggles, a compass, and a torch. Just a bit. On the safe side. I'm tickling my throat. So, off they went to the theatre to see a show called Cats, which has a lot of singing and dancing in it, and an awful lot of cats. And that is all I know about Cats, the show. Also that there was a film which was not popular at all. But Cats, the show, apparently is very good. So off we went to the theatre to see Cats. And so we sat down in Aunty Lisa, Kristoffer and Aleksander sat down in the seats ready to watch the show. And they got an ice cream, very important, and a drink. And they were just relaxing in the theatre when all of a sudden they heard a strange noise, or at least a noise that's strange to hear in a theatre. And that noise was this. And they were like, "Can you hear that?" And they looked at each other. "Yeah, what's that noise?" And I'm like, well, that's really weird to have that beeping noise in theatre. And then they remembered what that noise is. And that noise is the special noise given to forklift trucks. Because forklift trucks, as they drive around, are so big and heavy that they can squash people. So they have a special noise. Everywhere they go. Especially if they're reversing. And that's what that noise was. And then all of a sudden, through the curtains of the theatre came a forklift truck. And it was out of control, but very slowly out of control because they do not move very fast. I don't think they do it. Anyway, so it was, and all the people in the audience were like, very slowly being about to get crushed. And they all ran out of the theatre. And the forklift truck drove off the stage and onto the floor and smashed through all the chairs, leaving a chaotic destruction everywhere it had been of smashed chairs and tipped over drinks and squished up popcorn and destroyed ice creams. It was an absolute tragedy for the ice creams. And nobody was driving it because it was out of control. And Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa said, got to do something. This forklift is just driving around the theatre, destroying everything. What are we going to do? And so they had to hatch a plan. And here is what they did. Very, very carefully, they made a quick phone call, is what they did, actually. And they called up El Fuego. And they said, boop, 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 boop. Hey, El Fuego, we need your help. And El Fuego said, of course, I'll be there immediately. Where are you? And they explained, well, we're at the theatre, actually. And El Fuego said, okay, what's gone wrong at the theatre? And then they explained about the forklift that was driving around, crushing all. It's destroyed the sets. It's destroyed the chairs. All the ice cream things are being pushed over and smashed. There's melted ice cream everywhere. El Fuego, we need your help. We can't jump on the forklift. It's too dangerous to jump on a moving vehicle. Aunty Lisa won't let us, said Aleksander and Kristoffer. Anyway, so El Fuego dashed down to the theatre. And he said, whoa, okay, you guys, I've got this. And he sprinted over to the forklift. Jumped inside the cabin and boop, switched it off. And the forklift stopped moving. El Fuego said, that was really strange. Where on earth did the forklift come from? Aleksander, Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa. It is a bit strange, isn't it? Well, we should probably go and investigate what has happened. So they went backstage at the theatre. All backstage is where people change their clothes for when they come on stage, and they put on their makeup, and they have all the costumes hanging up and all the set ready to go on for the next scene. All of that was smashed to pieces. All mess everywhere. And El Fuego said, wow, this is seriously weird. How did the forklift get in? And so Aleksander, Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa kept investigating. They walked all the way to the very, very back of the theatre, where they found an enormous hole. A very big hole at the back of the theatre. Not a door, a hole, where the forklift had smashed through and then just carried on. And they said, whoa, we've got to follow the trail of distraction back and see where the forklift started off its crazy journey. And so that's what they did. So they went through the big hole at the back of the theatre. And I kept walking. Everywhere they went, there was stuff all smashed up. Benches were smashed up. Thought there was something walking on my foot. Benches were smashed up. Bins were knocked over. Mess was everywhere. And they just kept walking. And everyone around was going, what happened here? God blimey, what a mess. Until they found a building site. Which makes a lot of sense, because you would probably need a forklift at a building site to lift things. Maybe a warehouse. Anyway, building site. We're going for a building site. They got to the building site, and it was all kinds of chaos at the building site. Everyone was running around going, what happened here? And do you know what had happened here? Well, I'll tell you. A strange thing had happened there. And what that strange thing was there had been a very peculiar accident. That's right, a very peculiar accident. From out of the sky, according to the builders, something had fallen, and it had smashed into the building they were making, which was going to be a house. And all the bricks had got smashed everywhere. And then loads of their electrical equipment had gone crazy. So it wasn't just the forklift that had gone crazy. That was problem number one. Actually, all the jackhammers had gone crazy and started going brrrr, all on their own. Brrrr, and they were just brrrr, all round the place, smashing up bricks and things and smashing up the ground. And the drills had gone crazy. That's more of a gun. Yeah. And they were just drilling holes in loads of stuff. And the sanders had gone crazy. Sanding everything. And all the builders were like, I don't know what to do. What are we going to do? Everything's kind of got this weird energy. And it was just when something flew out of the sky that it happened. Alexander, Kristoffer and Aunty said, this sounds like it could be one of two things. Either it's a ghost activity or aliens. And the builders went, we don't like the sound of any of that. And they legged it. They just ran away. Builders look hard, but actually, they get scared too. So they ran off, which is probably the sensible thing to do under the circumstances. So, first thing that Aleksander, Kristoffer, Aunty Lisa and Fuego decided to do was to check out if they thought there were any ghosts around, in case it was ghosts that was doing all of this troublemaking. So, luckily, Aleksander and Kristoffer were prepared, and they had packed their bag and included in it their mobile phones for zapping stuff and some special vision goggles for checking if there was any ghosts around. And so they started scanning the area for ghosts. And Fuego did the same, and Aunty Lisa helped out too with their phones to scan. And I can't see any ghosts. No ghosts. That means only one thing. Aliens. Dun dun dun. So they started looking around. And they thought maybe we can find an alien spaceship's crashed here or something like that has happened. And they looked and they looked and they looked. And eventually they found a very strange object. And the very strange object was doing this. It was kind of pulsing and making a humming noise. And they were like, that is a strange object. And it had whirring bits inside it, like, and it had heat coming off of it, like, and it had lights, bing, 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 bing. And it was about this big. And it had clearly crash landed into one of the houses. And they said, this looks like alien technology. It's got to be an alien spacecraft engine, which means that somewhere nearby there's an alien spacecraft without an engine. And that is probably not good news. Also, this must be the reason that all the other electrical equipment nearby has gone crazy. All the energy coming out of this thing has made everything else go mad. Oh dear. Right. We need to find the alien spacecraft. They're going to be in trouble. Okay. I wonder where it's landed. So, they started ringing around all of their friends. They rang Owen to see if he'd seen anything. He hadn't seen anything. They rang Andy and Hattie. They hadn't seen anything. They rang JB and Parker and Jack. They hadn't seen anything. And finally, they rang Captain Barnacles. And he said, "Ahoy there, my good friends. Yes, we've had a strange disturbance in the sea. We were just trying to fend off a cone snail, actually, which was invading our octopod and trying to make everyone go ooh, when there was a huge, ginormous splash and a massive wave came over and splooshed into the octopod, and the cone snail appears to have got really scared and run away. So we were quite relieved, but then we wondered what could have splashed into the sea that made such a big wave. And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, well, we think it might be an alien spaceship. And Captain Barnacles went, what now? And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, an alien spaceship. And Captain Barnacles went, okay then, my hearties, what should we do? And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, well, we think that probably the alien spaceship has lost its engine, so it's crash landed into the sea. I think there might be aliens aboard that need your help, Captain Barnacles. Do you think you can help them? And Captain Barnacles said, where there's someone in need, we will be there to help. And so, he said, I will go and investigate. You guys need to come and meet us. Here's our coordinates. And he texted them the coordinates of the boat. And so, Aleksander and Kristoffer said, okay, over and out. We'll speak to you later, okay? Bye. Right. So Captain Barnacles and his team were off to investigate what was going on, what had crash landed into the sea. And meanwhile, Aleksander, Kristoffer, Aunty Lisa and El Fuego also needed to go and investigate because they were going to help. And they said, how are we going to get out to sea? What we need is a boat or, maybe some kind of aircraft. That could work. So they called up Sky from the Paw Patrol. And they said, Sky, can we borrow your helicopter? Sky said, of course, I haven't heard from you in ages. Yes, no problem. Be down there right away. I'm just going to grab it. And so she flew down in a helicopter. Actually, she brought Chase along as well this time because Chase was really bored. So her and Chase flew down and they landed just by where Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa and El Fuego were, and they all piled in to the helicopter, which is a bit of a tight squeeze because it's not a big helicopter. But what it lacks in size, it makes up for in speed and being pink, if I remember rightly. And so off they went in the helicopter. Out to sea. And so I'm slightly distracted because things coming up on the screen. So they went out to sea to find his coordinates, and they looked down in the sea and they could spot something just floating at the top of the sea. And it didn't look good. It was a large metal type object, although maybe it wasn't really metal, just looked like it. And it was in the shape of... a star. Had all pointy ends. Bing, bing, bing. And I thought, well, that's an odd shaped vehicle if ever I saw one. But anyway, they hovered down low over it. And just as they were doing that, the octopod was also coming in to nearby. They said, we found it, Captain Barnacles, it's just ahead of you. And Captain Barnacles said, Roger that, okay. So, just as they were all crowding round, they noticed there was a little window in this vehicle, this aircraft. And so, Aleksander and Kristoffer scooted down on the ladder. And they got a cloth and went in the window. And inside they saw a little creature like this. And they said, oh no, I think we're too late. I think it's dead. It's a disaster. But then they looked a little closer. And they saw the little creature go. And they went, oh, it's alive! So, Captain Barnacles' octopod surfaced. And out popped Peso, because he's the medical guy. And he jumped aboard the spaceship. And they managed to heave open, with Aleksander and Kristoffer's help, heave open the hatch that was the lid, the opening. And they pulled out this little creature that was like this. And they were like, what a strange looking little creature. But it needs our help. He must have banged his head something really badly. Okay, so they brought him aboard the octopod. And then the octopod sailed to the port where it could land for a minute. And Aleksander and Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa and Fuego and Sky all flew there so they all could meet up together. And they all pulled this poor little creature out onto the jetty, onto the land. And they were like, what's wrong with him? And the little creature was like, T-Rex. T-Rex. And they said, is he saying T-Rex? T-Rex. And they said, what's wrong, little guy? What do you need? T-Rex. And they said, I think this little guy's delusional. He must have had a big bang to the head. Let's get him some medical attention and then find out what we can do to help him. So, Peso and El Fuego and Aleksander, Kristoffer and Aunty Lisa all drove to the hospital in El Fuego's stunt truck. Stunt buggy? Stunt truck. Anyway, in his car vehicle thing. Super speedy to the hospital. And they sent him in there to the hospital with Peso giving advice to the doctors. And they said, we think he might be an alien from outer space. He certainly doesn't look human. Keeps going on about T-Rex. Don't know why. Well, eventually, after waiting very patiently for a long time in the waiting room, the little creature started to make a little bit more sense. And he said, hello, thank you. Where am I? And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, you're at the hospital, you're safe. You crash landed. And he went, oh dear. I've got to find a T-Rex. And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, a T-Rex? We thought maybe you'd gone mad. Why do you need a T-Rex? And he said, because our planet needs a T-Rex. Our planet is dying. We need dinosaurs to help us. And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, okay, why? And the little guy said, because all the plants and things, there's too many. We need T-Rexes to eat the other things that are eating all the plants. I don't know if any of this is making sense, but basically I've been told to get a T-Rex and bring it to my planet to save the day. And everyone said, well, maybe we could sort you out with some T-Rexes because we have a friend called Owen who actually has Jurassic World and they have T-Rexes there. And if that will help you, then maybe you could talk to him about getting a T-Rex or something. And he said, okay, that sounds really good. Thank you. And he went to sleep. And everyone went, that's a really peculiar way to save a planet. Are we sure he's for real? But anyway, the next day he looked much brighter, so they took him to Jurassic World. And Owen explained that really and truly he didn't want to give away any of his T-Rexes, but if the alien liked, he could always visit them there at Jurassic World. And the alien said, oh, but we just got to save our planet, you know? And Owen said, but why do you need a T-Rex? And he really didn't have a good answer for that because it really makes no sense. And so what they did was this. They said, look, little guy, what you should do, we'll fix up your spaceship and you can go back to your planet and explain that, yes, we have T-Rexes, but no, we do not want to share them because we need to take good care of our T-Rexes. And in the wrong hands, they can be extremely dangerous. And the little alien guy went, why do you not want to do what I say? We need a T-Rex, okay? And Owen said, well, you cannot have a T-Rex, okay? Because they're not for sale. And the little alien guy went, I just wanted a T-Rex to play with on my planet. And then they said, well, you said you needed a T-Rex to save your planet. It turns out you just needed one to play with. And he went, Well, my friend said I could never have a T-Rex, and I said, well, I think I probably could have a T-Rex. So then I came down here, and then I crashed, but I was going to have a T-Rex so that he wouldn't have a T-Rex and I would have a T-Rex. And Owen said, that is not good enough reason to take a T-Rex back to your planet. And the little guy said, Mummy and Daddy are going to be so cross with me. And Aleksander and Kristoffer suddenly realised this was not a grown-up alien. This was a very naughty alien that had stolen his mummy and daddy's spacecraft and to find a T-Rex to bring back home for a pet, and then crash landed on the planet Earth. And they said, look, little guy, you need to go and you need to say really big sorry to your mummy and daddy because it's not a good idea to steal their spaceship and try and steal a T-Rex from our place. And the little guy said, you're right. I bet they're really cross with me. And Aleksander and Kristoffer said, you just got to say sorry and give them a big hug and they'll probably be okay. And the little alien guy said, okay, will you help me fix my spacecraft? Maybe can I have a picture with a T-Rex? And they said, yes, you can have a picture with a T-Rex. So they took him to see the T-Rexes and they all took some super cool selfies. Ching, 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 ching. With themselves and a T-Rex at a safe distance. And then they went back to where the spacecraft's engine was and all the electrical things were still going crazy. And he said, oh, sorry, I should have switched that off. And he switched it off and all the electrical things went and stopped going crazy. And then they fixed the spaceship. And then he said, okay, you guys, maybe I'll come and visit again soon. Thanks for saving my life back there. I really appreciate it. And thank you for these brilliant T-Rex pictures. They're ace. And have a lovely, lovely day. Okay, bye. And then he zoomed back off into space up to Mars. And everyone went, bye. And that is where that bit of the story ends. Because then everybody just celebrated and ate ice cream. And that was the end. I'll finish there. Love you. Bye-bye.